Hands open to heaven, heaven, the echo of dawn, the quivering dawn unfolded with a tender embrace. Its pale gold light spilling like liquid transparency through the worn curtains of the Ida reception, casting soft, ethereal reflections on the stark, sterile white walls. The cool air circulated a hint of freshly brewed coffee, though it was weak and lifeless, more a companion for warmth than for its taste or aroma. Sarah, the Ida receptionist, wrapped her hands around the cup, allowing its gentle heat to seep into her weary fingers as she settled into a well-worn chair, its familiar creak offering comfort amidst the chaos. The incessant ringing of telephones felt like an orchestra of dissonant bells, each call a harbinger of another soul in distress. Her tired eyes drifted aimlessly across the waiting room, landing on a family huddled around a weeping woman. They spoke in hushed, solemn tones, their faces a poignant portrait of anguish, mixed with glimmers of fragile hope. For a moment, Sarah closed her eyes, drawing a deep, steadying breath, and whispered a prayer from the depths of her soul. Lord of mercy, let me see them as you do. Help me remember their names, even as many pass through. Her words carried the weight of sincerity, rising like incense on the crisp morning air, a longing for divine clarity amidst human confusion. As the dawn matured into a bustling morning, the pace quickened, the once quiet or now a sea of frenetic activity. A sudden rush of patients spilled through the doors, each with urgent needs, each requiring immediate attention, compassion, and the right paperwork. Sarah's fingers moved rapidly across her keyboard, her mind a whirl of activity, yet her heart felt the familiar heaviness of sympathy and empathy. A young boy, pale as winter's breath, was rushed past her by a father whose urgency was palpable. Eyes wide with fear, his whispered prayer, "Please, God, please," echoed in Sarah's soul like a haunting refrain, the weight of those words settling heavily upon her heart. Seeking solace, she ducked behind her desk for a moment, her hands clasped tightly, knuckles white. Holy One, I pray for strength. Let me be your hands and voice. Let these souls find peace in your presence. This burden is yours. Guide me today. Her crisis prayer spiraled upward, a desperate reach toward heaven, where she hoped divine assistance would meet her earnest request. The turning of the heart, Sarah's shift wore on the phones, never relenting, the faces continuing to blur into a mosaic of anxious expressions and silent pleas. Yet amid the chaos, she felt an imperceptible shift, a gentle nudge from the divine, urging her to stop striving and start listening. With her heart she let go, hands metaphorically open, ready to receive rather than run from the moment. Her heart softened as she began to truly see not just the need, but the person and their story behind it. At midday, the cool air wafted in with the family, the scent of autumn leaves clinging to their coats as they moved past her. A woman approached Sarah with eyes alight with gratitude. "Thank you for your kindness," she said, pressing a folded note into Sarah's hand before rushing to her recovering loved one. In the ensuing brief solitude, Sarah unfolded the note and read the simple yet profound inscription. Psalm 23, a gentle reminder that the shepherd of her soul was near her as she navigated the tumult. She felt the transformation stirring deep within, a quiet courage taking root, ready to embrace the myriad lives intersecting her path. Living with open hands as the afternoon sunlight streamed through the expansive glass windows, painting the room with hopeful glow. Sarah found herself greeting each person with renewed purpose. Her spirit buoyed by grace, she remembered names, forged connections with stories, and whispered prayers over the silent spaces that others walk through, tending to their hidden wounds. An elderly man, his skin lined like the bark of a wise old tree, approached her desk with slow, measured steps. "It's just a routine check," he chuckled, his voice carrying the weight of years. "But at my age, one never knows." Sarah's laugh joined his, their shared mirth blending into a brief, holy moment of shared humanity.
The emergency room. The air is dense with antiseptic chill. Harriet stands behind the reception desk, her fingers tapping softly on the keyboard, each keystroke resonating in the chaotic silence. The fluorescent lights cast a pale glow over her, preparing her for the day ahead. Beginning her shift, the phones ring ceaselessly, echoes in this cathedral of need. Her coffee, lukewarm and stale, offers a small comfort amidst the chaos. Scanning the waiting room, Harriet sees a worried mother cradling a feverish child, an anxious elderly man tapping his cane, and a teenager clutching a bandaged hand. Their silent stories fill the air, woven into the ether with threads of suffering. Harriet momentarily closes her eyes. Centering her thoughts, Lord of mercy, she whispers, "Let me remember their names as you do, that they might feel seen and loved." Her breath fogs the window, testimony to both the cold outside and the warmth within. The phone rings again, pulling her back into her duties as she silently promises to be God's eyes and ears, witnessing the ebb and flow of humanity.
The skies darken, a rich indigo, while the flow of patience continues. Unabated distant sirens blend with Harriet's heartbeat, a rhythmic reminder of life and death stakes. With each patient she assists, the exhaustion grows. A young mother approaches, her face etched with anxiety. "I'm here for Matthew," she says softly. Harriet searches the screen, but his name is lost in a sea of entries, each a life poised between worry and hope. The mother's desperation grips Harriet, drawing her into a quieter hallway. There she leans against the wall, closing her eyes. "Holy One whom we call Father," she prays, "I'm overwhelmed, grant me strength to carry these burdens and guide my hands to serve with love." A gentle nudge in her soul whispers courage into her heart. Strengthen. She returns to the desk, her burden slightly eased, as if shared with unseen hands.
As night presses on, Harriet finds a new rhythm and grace in her tasks. Just past midnight, a rare calm settles over the waiting room, resuming her search for Matthew's name. She sees it, unassuming, like a prayer awaiting an answer. With newfound assurance, Harriet approaches the young mother. "We just got an update," she says, her words cradling the woman's hope. The mother's gratitude warms Harriet, and she senses God's presence guiding her, a sacred symphony where divine grace meets human need. Each whispered prayer weaves a tapestry of care that touches them all.
As dawn stretches its soft light into the ER, Harriet's shift closes. The glow touches tired faces, offering gentle benediction. Another night endured, but not without purpose. Though exhausted, she feels a deeper peace, like autumn leaves resting after a storm. Stepping outside, the cold air invigorates her, the world awakening, vibrant with life. Harriet recalls the psalm of green pastures and still waters. The shepherd of her soul has been with her, and she trusts he will lead her through valleys and shadows into his light, a promise etched in the dawn's glow. Lord, you who hear the cries of the weary, grant us grace to serve with open hearts, and eyes to see as you see the beauty in every soul. Guide us through the dark into your peaceful rest. In your strength we find our truest hope. Guardians of the innocent. Act I, the sound of silent stones. The crispness of dawn bites sharply, an invigorating yet unforgiving reminder of the mountain path's rugged beauty. My breath clouds the air, weaving momentarily into the morning mist, as transient and fragile as the life I lead. Each step I take echoes against the stones underfoot, smooth yet treacherous from the previous night's rain, creating a symphony of solitude that reverberates through the stillness of the early hour. The world remains in hushed expectancy, the silence only punctuated by the gentle rustle of autumn leaves, stubborn sentinels clinging tenaciously to their branches despite the cold whisper of the coming winter. My heart is heavy, encumbered by a familiar burden, an unsent letter, its edges worn and creased from too many days of harboring it close, a silent testament to words unspoken. This letter is a confession, a bridge of words meticulously crafted for a father unseen for years, spanning a chasm of silence formed by pride and hardened by the absence of time. The dim light of dawn paints the world in ethereal shades of gray and gold, a promise of a new day draped in whispers of hope yet to be revealed. I pause, momentarily lost in the uncertainty that swells around me like the morning mist, causing my resolve to falter. Sinking to my knees on the cold, unyielding stone, the chill beneath me is grounding and firm. I bow my head, offering a prayer, a whisper cast into the vastness stretching before me. Lord of mercy, I begin, my voice barely breaking the silence. Guide me to protect the innocent. The words lift into the air, carried by the gentle breeze, a supplication for strength and direction, a plea for the courage to face the unknown and to do what must be done. The rains whisper. Night descends like a soft shroud, bringing with it a gentle, persistent rain, its droplets forming a curtain that blurs the world into a tapestry of indistinct edges and muted colors. Each step becomes more precarious, the path beneath my feet a slippery mosaic of stones and earth, whispering uncertainty. Yet, the rhythmic percussion of raindrops against leaf and stone soothes my unease, weaving a melody that eases my doubts. The edges of the letter press insistently into my palm, a persistent reminder of the unfinished business consuming my thoughts. The scent of damp earth rises around me, mingling with my resolve as I near the chapel perched atop the mountain, a solitary silhouette against the dark sky, an oasis of solace in the wilderness. Inside, candlelight flickers, casting a warm, dancing glow among the worn stones of the chapel's interior. Shadows leap and play, ancient spirits in sacred celebration. Kneeling once more, I am enveloped by the warmth and peace of this hallowed space. The bitter cold of the outside world a mere memory. Here, in this place of refuge, I am a prodigal son, turning again toward the Holy One. offering a prayer from the depths of my heart. Shepherd of my soul, I've strayed, seeking strength in solitude. I whisper, my words a fragile thread in the stillness. Yet here I kneel, longing for your guiding light. Forgive this weary heart, grant me the courage to act. Silence follows a profound presence rather than an absence, a divine embrace that envelops me. In that silence, a gentle nudge, a sense of peace unmistakably recognized as God's guidance. The echo of my prayer fills the room, soft but unwavering, reverberating within the stone walls, a testament to hope. A letter in the light. As night surrenders to the dawn, the first rays of the spring sun cast away the darkness, illuminating the chapel in celestial hues of pink and gold. I am changed. Something profound has shifted within me. The chapel doors swing open, welcoming a gentle breeze that stirs the air with life. Reaching into my pocket, I retrieve the letter. With renewed clarity, I begin to write anew. Words flow, honest and tender, articulating years of silence, love lost and enduring. In those quiet moments, I find resolution, not in the act of sending the letter, but in the sacred willingness to mend and allow myself to be mended. As I begin my descent from the mountain, the world bursts into life, a tapestry of green buds and the brave calls of cicadas, a testament to life's relentless renewal. My steps are lighter, each one a testament to newfound peace, each the echo of an ancient promise of redemption and grace fulfilled.
Holy One, giver of peace, transform our hearts to love anew. Guide us in the light of your truth. Let our actions protect the innocent and lead us home to you. Amen.
In the pale gold light of day, the farmer knelt on his parched fields. Cool morning air whispered across his face, but didn't ease his desperation. Each breath was a silent cry, each exhale a whispered prayer for relief from the relentless drought shadowing the land. He clutched dry soil, feeling its arid texture slip through his fingers, a reminder of life escaping his family's needs weighed heavy, tethering him to hopes of a harvest that seemed more dream than reality. Kneeling, worry etched deep, he closed his eyes, seeking solace in the silence. The wind stirred a rustling sparse vegetation with a mournful cadence. Lord of mercy, he began, his voice trembling like the leaves of the ancient oak, marking his land's boundary. I am at a loss, this drought has stolen our sustenance. Send us rain, I beg you, let your truth pierce this dark season, lighting the lamp of hope once more. His prayer hung in the air, a fragile tendril weaving upward as he listened for divine whispers in the solitude of his barren land. He yearned for divine intervention, solace whispering through faith's corridors. The day passed in toil, each step a rhythm of persistence against despair. Every weary movement spoke of resilience tied with fatigue, woven with quiet contemplation, searching beyond the visible horizon. The farmer paused often, seeking signs in swaying grass, God's voice amid nature's symphony. The distant lark, rustling leaves, secrets spoke to his soul in a tongue beyond words. As As evening fell, he stood at the field's edge, a cool wind promising something unnamed. Creation seemed to whisper hope just beyond uncertainty's veil. Stars blink through the dark, inviting him to lift burdens heavenward. Shepherd of my soul, he prayed, surprising self with gentle resolve. Teach me trust your timing, I've been blind, clinging to control where I should surrender. Help me see beyond this drought, to act in faith without assurance. I trust you to replenish this land in my spirit. His words were a gift laid at the Holy One's feet. A peace descended, a balm to his weary heart. He sensed a divine nudge, assurance that rain would come, perhaps unexpectedly. The evening embraced him, leaving serenity, a divine whisper of promises yet unspoken. The blessing of action. The next morning dawned anew, the farmer rising with the sun, its light spilling across fields like honey. The horizon glowed with promise, infusing him with newfound courage, ready to embrace what lay ahead. Inspired, he prepared the field for rain, despite the bright cloudless sky, praying with every step, each action a faith offering, painted in hope strokes. With hands and heart open to God's will, he repaired old irrigation lines and tended neglected plants, each movement a testament to persevere and hope. Labor transformed, no longer burdensome, but a sacred dance of anticipation, each gesture a prayer in motion, echoing an unseen grace. Days passed and the whispered promise grew in his heart, yielding to God's truth. The air charged with expectancy, both intoxicating and reassuring. Then one late afternoon, as he sent a final prayer skyward, a miracle unfolded. Tiny drops pattered onto the soil, soon transforming into a gentle, persistent rain. He lifted his face to the droplets, arms outstretched in gratitude. The parched earth drank greedily, softening under the nourishing gift, and with it, his spirit revived. The rain was a symphony of life, a divine melody echoing God's faithfulness. Each drop a note in a holy chorus, fulfilling the promise whispered in prayer. Holy One, giver of Bed of Mercy. Act I, Flower and Dawn. The clock struck 4 a.m., its chime a soft whisper in the silence of an immigrant bakery. Wrapped in early darkness. The air was cold, the kind of crispness that only winter knows. And the breath from Maria's lips hovered like ethereal clouds before disappearing into the void. Her small corner of solace was alive. The scent of yeast and warm dough, a comforting embrace as she set to work. The flour dusting her hands like snowflakes on a quiet, untouched field. Maria was not alone in this ritual. Her heart sang a silent hymn to the Holy One. As she kneaded the dough, the rhythm of her hands matched the rhythm of her prayer. Lord of mercy, guide me today. She murmured, fingers folding and pressing, each motion a testament to faith. Her movements were not just of a baker, but of a pilgrim offering her work to God. This sanctuary of flower and prayer was a place of refuge from a city that often seemed too vast, too indifferent. It was here that her soul found tranquility amidst the broken chorus of the world outside. Daily loaves, unseen battles. The bakery was more than walls and bread. It was a fragile bridge connecting Maria's past and present, stories of her homeland woven into each loaf, each with a story that sang of love and hardship in a language both earthly and divine. Yet, across the street, a rival bakery loomed, its shadow a reminder of competition and tension. Windows glowing with artificial light, it seemed to stare back at her kitchen with an unblinking gaze. Its owner, Thomas, had been a friend once, before ambition tore their fellowship. This morning, the usual peace that Maria found in her prayer was unsettled. Her mind drifted to Thomas, and a sudden pang of distress filled her heart. There had been rumors of financial struggles on his side, whispers carried by the cold wind between the two bakeries. Maria stopped, closed her eyes, and let out a shaky breath, her hands resting on the counter. Now cold and unyielding shepherd of my soul, what am I to do? She whispered, the question a fledgling bird taking flight into the unknown expanse of God's grace. Answer in the silence. Later that morning, as the rays of the sun began to warm the world outside, Maria stood by the window, the dough rising behind her like promises of hope. Her earlier prayer echoed in her mind, a dull thrum of unease that lingered like the low hum of a forgotten tune. So she turned again to God, this time not asking beyond her understanding, but listening with the patience of a farmer waiting for the rains. The answer came not as words, but as quiet peace, the kind that settles on the heart like a gentle snowfall, covering the sharp edges of worry with a soft, forgiving blanket. There was a sense, an urging that she could not deny. Share the thought was simple, profound, a clarity that ignited a spark of courage within her. Maria's fingers brushed the cross hanging against her chest. A silent promise formed on her lips. Her eyes lifted towards heaven, filled with a new determination. Loaves of reconciliation. Wrapping the warm loaves in a cloth, Maria moved with determination across the street, the morning light turning each loaf into golden miracles in her arms. Each step was a prayer, each footfall a reminder of her trust in God's guidance. The cobblestones beneath her feet, a path laid down by angels. The door to Thomas' bakery creaked open, a bell jingling her arrival, a sweet note of hope. Holy One, who sees beyond our fears, I thank you for the courage to act in love, for the whisper of your voice in the silence. Guide my heart to always seek your way, and let my life be a whispered prayer to you. In humility, I find your strength. Amen.